Welcome back, folks. The time has come to take Serana home, and that will come with a choice whether or not to become a vampire ourselves. Reason being is I want to get her as an actual follower, so right now she's just kind of a proxy follower, which is good. You know, that basically gives you two backup here. When we drop her off, she'll no longer be able to fill that role, but here in a couple of videos, we will be able to get her as an actual follower. We'll be able to get in her inventory, give her weapons, etc. So folks, just to give you a map overview where we're at, we're in the northwestern corner of the map here. Assuming you've got your Bloodline quest activated, that'll take you right over here. And folks, to get there, I just like to warp to Solitude or, take a carriage there. Follow the main path out of town. It'll go by the farm, it'll go by the dock, and it'll kind of go under this massive land bridge and up to the north. And then it'll kind of turn sharp west and follow the coastline all the way out to where I'm at now. And guys, on a side note, stay away from this dungeon. I can't remember what it's called here. I'm going to go ahead and activate the map marker. But that's linked to a quest later on that you could potentially break if you go in there early. Alright guys, so here it is, the jetty.
That's it.
Now that little boat sitting by that dock, that's what we have to take to get over to the castle. Ironically, you could also get there just by swimming, but it takes forever. And guys, before we actually go over there, drop that save. Reason being is we're going to have to make a choice here. Once we get into the castle, we're going to talk to dear old Dad, and he's going to give us an opportunity to become a vampire and betray the Dawn Guard. Or, you can refuse his gift and stay aligned with the Dawn Guard, and you will be kicked out of the castle here where Serana is going to remain. Now that being said, we will be catching back up with Serana here in a little bit, probably in a couple of videos or so, and at that point we will actually be able to make her our actual follower. But the reason I say go ahead and drop that save here before you even get on that boat is this way, if you get over there and say you decide you wanted to be a vampire, and after a couple of quests or so you're just not feeling it, you can always come back to this save point, reload it, go back over there and choose Team Dawn Guard. And guys, before we actually go over there, there's something else I should mention. I'm breaking these playlists out completely, so if you don't want to make this decision right now, you're happy with Serana, you're happy having her as a third follower, you're happy with your game the way it is right now, you can actually ignore doing this for right now altogether. And at the end of the video here, I'm going to have two options for you to click on. And one is going to be, Team Vampire. If you want to play those quests, you can do that. Or if you want to choose Team Dawn Guard, I'll have a completely separate playlist for that. But that's important because if you do want to ignore all this for right now and just continue on with, the game of Skyrim, at the end of the video, you just don't have to do anything. And that will continue on with the current playlist that you're already playing. And you can come back to this at a later time. But not to fear, I'm going to help you guys through this decision a little bit, and I'll kind of fill you in a little bit on what means what, depending on which way you're thinking about going here. So you might want to finish watching the video before you decide to do anything. But long story short, you're going to have three options at the end of the video. Do nothing and just go play more Skyrim elsewhere, pick side of the vampires, or pick side of the Dawn Guard. Alright, without any further ado, go ahead and jump on the boat there. And that'll teleport you right to the shore of the castle. Now folks, before we go in there, I should mention, if you want to get Serana cured, you have to be very careful with the dialogue options here moving forward. But before I get too far into that, you can actually also cure yourself. So you know what, if you really want to try the vampire thing, it's not necessarily final. And there's two different times you can choose vampire. So we can do that with dear old Dad here. Or if you're just not, sure yet, you don't have to. You can choose Dawn Guard. And then a couple of videos later, we're going to be going into the Soul Cairn. And trusty Serana here will give us yet one more opportunity to become a vampire if we so desire. But that being said, if we do become a vampire and we get through the Dawn Guard questline, and, we finish things up and we're just not feeling it anymore, there's a way to cure yourself exactly the same way Serana gets cured. But that's later on. I just thought I should throw that out there. Becoming a vampire isn't necessarily a final decision. Alright guys, so you can see my map marker just went ahead and activated. Now go ahead and talk to Serana at this point. She'll have a new dialogue option for us.
Do you need something?
Is this your home?
This is it. Home.
Okay, so about halfway up on the bridge here, Serana will once again grab our attention.
So, before we go in there...
And guys, once again, real important dialogue options here. Ask her if she's alright.
I think so.
Alright, so we are still primed to be able to get her cured of vampirism if we so desire later on. The only thing I don't like about that is it turns her cool-looking red eyes into these, like, creepy, glowing yellow eyes. They're not whited eyes like everyone else's. They're this weird yellow thing, and I could just never get past it. Not only that, she loses some of her cool vampire attacks, so all in all, I just never liked getting her cured. But I will walk you through her dialogue options moving forward, just to make sure that option is available to you if you so desire. Alright folks, go ahead and pop on in the castle. And this is the point. Serana will no longer be accessible to us, at least, you know, temporarily, here for a couple of videos or so. And that will trigger the next part of our quest line here. Now it's going to take a minute. Serana's going to have to get down here and talk to dear old Dad.
My lord, everyone! Serana has returned.
Now a couple other notes. If you choose Team Vampire here, that'll open up the castle to you, just like, you know, the Dawnguard Castle. There's crafting stations, there's side quests, there's NPCs, etc.
Lost daughter returns at last.
But do know that if you choose Team Vampire, the Dawnguard will be completely off limits to you, unless you get yourself cured. On the flip side, if you choose Team Dawnguard, dear old Dad here will kick you out of the castle, and then this will no longer be accessible to you. But, you know, likewise, there's going to be plenty to do over on the Dawnguard side. There's crafting stuff over there, plenty of NPCs and side quests as well. Now, before we get over there and start talking to Dad, this is when we're going to have to start to make our decisions. So the first couple of dialogue options he has to offer won't really matter. But at some point, he's going to say, make your choice, and then you'll have to choose, you know, to become a vampire or refuse his gift and, you know, stay loyal to Team Dawnguard. And folks, I'm going to show you a preview of what the vampire would look like, and, you know, the differences, etc. Again, just to make sure that you'll be able to make an informed decision. Alright guys, so first thing you're going to notice, your eyes are red, just like Serana's. That means you are a full-blown vampire. At this point, that kind of skips the precursor disease, where you could normally drink a cure disease potion, or, you know, visit any random shrine to cure that disease. This kind of skips that. So now that we're a full-blown vampire, in addition to your eyes being different, down here under powers you're going to see Vampire Lord, Vampire Servant, and Vampire Sight, which actually gives you a really cool superpower, and you can activate this either in human form or vampire form. And it kind of shows you all enemies, through walls, everything, all enemies, dead, alive, robots, etc. You bump that button again, it turns it off. So to turn yourself into vampire form, go ahead and hit Vampire Lord. And that's the same button as Shout button, by the way. So you can see you look similar to Harkon there in that vampire form. And guys, no inventory. No bow, no arrow, no weapons. All you get when you push the inventory button is a new perk tree. And honestly, this is worth exploring. Some of these are pretty doggone powerful and make you a much more powerful fighting vampire. Now you do have some weapons and spells. If you click the arrows or whatever buttons get you normally into your favorites menu, you'll see bats, and again that's the same as the shout button. And that just kind of makes you invincible for a hot second, and you can warp across a battlefield. It's real helpful in combat. Go back to that favorites menu, raise dead, and again that's your reanimate, so you can wake things up like Serana does. You've got your drain life spell just like Serana. And last but not least, Vampire Sight, and again, that's the shout button. Now, I'm not going to lie, trying to fight in combat as a vampire is pretty tough. There's a learning curve there. And especially before you get those perks amped up, it's a pretty tough fight. So that being said, in order to change yourself back into your human form, go ahead and hit revert form and hit that shout button once again. And that'll pop you back into your human form. You'll once again have access to bow and arrow, all your normal magic, and of course all your shouts. Alright folks, in addition to all that, go ahead and open up your active effects. You'll notice some new stuff is in here. Champion of the Night, which influences your illusion spells. Night Stalker's Footsteps, very, very handy. Resist disease, which is awesome. As well as resist poison, which would be huge if you're not already a Redguard. The downside is a little bit weaker to fire. But you have better frost resistance, so I guess give and take. And the good thing about this is all the other stuff still applies, including the Lover's Stone. Or any other stone you might have activated for that matter. Now this is not the only chance you'll have to become a vampire, as I mentioned outside, so if you're still really not sure but you do want to press forward with the Dawnguard questline, go ahead and choose Team Dawnguard and refuse his gift for now, and then when we go to the Soul Cairn, you'll have another opportunity to become a vampire, choose Team Vampire, and work with the Coven here. But either way, no matter when you decide to become a vampire, you'll still have that option to cure yourself of vampirism later on. So go ahead and approach Dad there, and that'll kick the party off. Okay, and again, dialogue options won't matter until you get to this point. And this is where you have to choose. Now, if we choose Team Dawnguard, it's going to kick us out of the castle here, and we won't have access to anything. And just like the Dawnguard guys, there's NPCs here, there's side quests. So really, no matter which way you go, there's going to be, stuff for you to do at one coven or the other. Now guys, remember, once again, you do not have to make this decision right now. Pretty soon there will be a couple of options showing up on the YouTube channel here. Two things that you could click on, to either choose Dawnguard or Vampires. But the third choice is do nothing, don't click on either of those, and that'll just continue on with the regular Skyrim playlist like normal. Again, accepting the gift, Team Vampire. Refusing the gift, Team Dawnguard. And folks, right about now, those options should be coming up on your screen. Make your choice.